Before we get into the main chat, I just wanted to jump on and say a few things about what you're about to watch. Firstly, it was recorded on Zoom, and I spotlighted myself during the birthday party during this section. So you don't get to see anyone else during the call, but you'll hear D, our co-host, who does the interviewing. You hear B, who was looking at the questions during the chat. And yeah, so they were filtering questions from about the 20 participants that were also there during the birthday party. So sorry you don't see more than just me, but that's just how it worked on the day. You'll see a cut from a question that was submitted. There was a spicy question, and it's not something I wanted in the public realm. So that's going to be kept just between the 20 or so of us that were there during the night. And join me again at the other side of the interview. I'm going to go through one of the questions that was asked about the future of virtual sewing rooms. So I've got a bit more to say on that at the other end. I'll let you enjoy it. The dress I'm wearing during the night was the Lotta dress by Tilly and the Buttons, which you can see. I think they did ask on the night, but that wasn't part of this chat. But just in case you're curious. So enjoy.
Hey, hi everybody, welcome to In Conversation With. Tonight we are coming from the Virtual Sewing Room second birthday party, so that's why we have a few other people on here as well. We are in conversation with Jenny, our founder. So if you'd like to ask any questions, then do put some in the chat and we can go through those as well. I'm going to go through the general questions that Jenny asks everybody else, including myself, with a little this and that section at the end as well. But do put questions in the chat. Bee's going to keep an eye on that for us so that so we can just concentrate on the rest of the questions. So first of all, Jenny, because for there might be people here that haven't been to a sewing room or anything or don't know you particularly well, so just a quick one, just a rundown of what inspired you to actually start the virtual sewing room in the first place.
Simply, it's the space that I wanted to find, but I couldn't find it. So although I'm based in Southampton on the south coast of the UK, population of 250,000 people, there wasn't anything that I felt was accessible to me. So I could just go at a weekend for a few hours or anything. And this was what, 3 or 4 years ago. So kind of just the back end of all the lockdowns, there wasn't anything, there is others happening across the country in person, but it's like, well, sometimes, like for me, I like to go somewhere local. I know some people drive all over, but I wanted something that was easy to get to. And what's more easy to get to than your laptop from your sewing space? Because I thought there's must be people who are more isolated in every sense of the word than me. So I thought, let's give it a go and just kind of put it out there in 2 years.
Because it's also brought people together from different countries and as well as in the UK. So it's worked really, really well, hasn't it? So well done. So when did you start sewing? Or when and why did you start sewing? Have you always sewn or?
Yes and no. So my mum was a quilter through the 90s. She was very into her quilting. I should have found one and brought it with me because yeah, she made all sorts. Went through it again recently, trying to find what quilting stuff she had that I could yeah, keep for myself. So she and her aunt used to quilt together. They used to go to quilting groups, but they went to like quilting fairs. I don't know if that's still a thing, but it was like community halls, or I think we went to like Newbury Racecourse where they had like setup of just lots of stalls and stuff. So I, traipse around with them, looking at all the colours and everything, and was inspired. And then I made my first proper quilt when I was at primary school still. It was like a baby quilt kind of thing. Again, I should have brought it down, but I'll insert a picture for YouTube. And so I'd done some hand embroidery on it. It's a rainbow one. And it was unfinished for about 10, 15 years because I didn't know how to do the binding. I could have just asked my mum.
Yeah.
But I also wanted rainbow binding. So the squares were kind of alternate colours of the rainbow with white in between. And yeah, when I wasn't around, she went to a fair and got me this rainbow fabric, which I then finished in my 20s. But I never got into quilting. It looked like the accuracy of some of my mum's pieces. Like there's so much joy in looking at them, but it's like it's too. She did a lot of English paper piecing as well. Still,
When I see quilting, it's like it's so amazing. I could never be that good. I'm not even going to try.
I mean, even in dressmaking, like there's still lots of little errors and stuff. It's fine, but with quilting, it's a bit more obvious, I think. So the accuracy for me, I think, is just a level beyond. But then I went to uni and did design, graphic design, and my flatmate for the final year, she was a textile student, and she was really into corsetry and using boning in her work. And we still are really good friends. And I actually started using the sewing machine to create my pieces for my final year. So we had to do like poster designs, and I was using like scraps of fabric. One of the projects we had to do were posters for the textiles final major project. So they had a vague theme. And so all the students in my course had to create posters and like a theme, kind of like reflecting their theme. And yeah, I brought textures and stuff into the posters and stitching and all sorts. And yeah, I think every project, I had to do a book cover, so I used lots of yarn. And I just enjoyed the course so much more because I was bringing in textiles in my sewing machine. And then living with Andrea, and just seeing the clothes and just the textures and colors she was using. Mandy would like it because it was a lot of purples, like tonally. Her work was just gorgeous. And so, yeah, we parted ways. She lives in Birmingham and I went home to Southampton, and we just, yeah, still good friends now. And that inspired me then, I think I don't like to admit, 2011 maybe. I started dressmaking and was donated patterns and things and started there. Yeah.
Great story. I was going to say, what's your earliest memory of sewing and crafting, but I guess that's probably the quilting that you were just talking about with your mum.
I've always been crafty. I'm one of four, and I was the one who always got the art kits, like candle making, sequins and pins on a foam board. I don't really know what that was about, but I made a swan. Like, it was a really weird kit, but pens, I've still got pencils from my childhood. Like I've got everything, like watercolors, like just all the crafts, and I'll give any of them a go.
I'm a bit like that. I'll do anything. So you've always been creative then? That was going to be the next question. But again, yeah, you've pretty much answered that. So right from the dot. So moving slightly away then, what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a child?
So I've thought about this a bit more since asking everyone else about it. And my first answer would be when I was about 6 or 7, I wanted to be a mermaid.
Love that.
And then there was this girl, Rachel, at school. We were friends, and she told me that's not a thing. You can't be a mermaid when you grow up. I'm very glad she moved on to a different school because she broke my heart that day. But then I'm not crying.
You say you don't have to cry, Jen.
She broke my heart. So I've always laughed about that, but I've never really had a set goal like I want to be an accountant, a vet, do this, do that. But then reflecting, like, have I ever thought about anything? I did at one point want to be a radio presenter. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at some point. I think doesn't every child go through that?
no one's mentioned it so far, but I went through it. Yeah. When I was 14, 15, I was always listening to the radio. Comic pop up. You're both presenting now. Yeah.
There we go, living the dream.
Finally. But yeah, even after I left uni, I had no idea what I wanted to be. I still don't know what I want to be.
Well, I think you're doing pretty well considering. Is there a project that you feel super proud of?
think the first thing that comes to mind is similar to what other people have said, and I've got a coat. The deer and doe something coat. Lucerne?
I don't know that one. I
Uh,
think if it's the first thing that's come to mind, then it's probably the one.
yeah. I know Lucy has also made the same coat, host Lucy. She made it in a nice bottle green colour, and I made mine in a bottle green colour as well by chance. I think I found hers on there, and green's not normally a go-to colour, but it was just, I think I had to do welt buttonholes, which aren't perfect, but I did them. Just the idea of making a coat just never crossed my mind that I could make that. So there's lots of things like a backpack. I've done a couple of backpacks, and it's just like I'd never think to make a bag. Like things like that. I always like, yeah, I made this bag. Like, of course I did. Yeah. So there's still like the first time I made jeans, actually the only time I made jeans, which was just before lockdown, which means they don't fit anymore. But they got really good wear for the first 3 months before lockdown. And
Oh,
I'd found a pattern that was the right size for me. So the waist and hip was bang on. So I didn't have to do any adjustments, and made them up. And oh, I loved them. And I did a photo shoot with Andre, who I went to uni with. We met up halfway, and I was like, can you take some photos of these jeans? And yeah, we had a fun time.
there's a question coming from a vet, which I'm going to ask B to relay because I think that's quite apt at the moment. But yeah,
Yeah. Yvette said, didn't you also make your wedding dress?
I did, yeah. I should be proud of that one, but actually I changed it completely. So yeah, I had a raglan sleeve. It was based on Jennifer Lauren Rain dress, Raine, because it had a really nice waistband. I loved it because it's kind of had a nice curve round, and it had pockets. And I changed the bodice a bit, so there was, yeah, raglan. Um, and I should be prouder of that one, but it was out of very delicate fabric, and I think I'd changed that now. But it was blue, it fitted well. There was a big bow on the back, but they went drapey, and I should have probably put some kind of wire in it so that it stood proud all day. I got a photo of it good at first thing in the morning. It's fine. But I had pockets. I had pockets on my wedding dress,
that's
and
brilliant.
I
That's
carried the
Excellent.
rings. Yeah.
brilliant. So we've talked about the one you're super proud of. So do you have a project that's in the naughty corner or your whip pile at the moment, or even one that you've given up on maybe in the past, in the future, in the past?
I did cut out a version of my wedding dress in just a really nice viscose. It didn't make it's still in one of my drawers. I just never put it together, and I'm really gutted now because yeah, lockdown means my body's changed the last few
Was
years.
that going to be a trial, or did you do it after you've done the wedding dress because you?
After, yeah, so I wanted a version that I could wear more day to day. And it was in blue, a different shade of blue, but it's just really pretty floral fabric. And it was potentially going to be my wedding dress, but then like talking to a few people, I was like, no, I'm going to do a plain kind of coloured dress with lace. So it was an option for a wedding dress. So that's been in there six years.
That's impressive.
So if anyone feels better, then I'm happy for it to stay there as long as possible.
Just to make other people feel better. You're
But I
doing
might do something with it, like lots of small pieces that might turn into like a cushion cover or something that I can display at least. I can't make a garment out of it. So
a
yeah.
story behind it. So, are there any projects or garments that you feel are too intimidating or daunting to make? I can't believe that of you, especially if you've done a coat. That's what I find daunting.
The coat was quite a simple pattern, I think. I think there's more complex ones. Like I think like the waffle ones with all the pockets are a bit more in depth. Like that feels a bit intimidating. Um, I guess there must be going back to jeans again, I think just knowing that I've now changed size, so I'm going to have to start the whole process again of checking my size, and then do I want to stick with that same pattern or find a one? So jeans is just, and trousers in general, I think need that time for proper fit if you're not doing elasticated waists. I've done a lot of elasticated waists in the last few years, but I've not done a proper fitted trouser fully. Just because I want that time to go through it and make sure it does fit, which I've just got so many projects that are going through my head that
you just need to clear some before you can have the headspace, don't you?
Yeah, basically just free up that time, like, right, this month is trouser month, let's slowly work through it. But I think also being a virtual sewing room host, it's a difficult thing to work on during sessions, so it's giving myself the time outside of that. So yeah.
So is there anywhere in the world that you would like to travel or live?
Since I first visited, I've always said I'd like to live in Edinburgh, even if it was for 6 months. Edinburgh seems a really nice city. I'd like to go to New Zealand because my husband's been there, and he loved it. He would happily move to Wellington in a heartbeat. Like,
I would move to Christchurch or Oamaru. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, he spent a year out there. Actually, yeah, the poster that's just behind me is, I'm just going to move the camera. That's Abel Tasman, which is one of the places that he went to. I think he kayaked near there. Was it? There's 4 posters in the kitchen, all about New Zealand. I think that's where he kayaked. But anyway, yeah, I'd like to do New Zealand because it's more like England than Australia is more like America. So more Scandinavia countries as well. We've done Norway, but I hear that there are other nice ones around.
I'm sure you can get some information and help with that virtual sewing room. So, are there any advice or top tips that you have learnt from other sewists or from workshops or VSR sessions?
Oh, I've learned so much.
Yeah. From where do you think you learn the most? I mean, do you do many workshops and things? I know you've done the trouser one, haven't you?
I don't go to many workshops. That's because I don't think there are any good ones near me or ones that I can get to.
Yeah.
I've also noticed Dudley's just come on. Next, Emma's at the top of my screen, so I can see Dudley.
You've got different people on your screen to me.
I've learned loads of tips probably just from virtual sewing room, just alone. Like, there's always lots of little things I just happen to hear people say, and I'm like, I didn't know that. Just like little things like, oh. And tools as well, all the little tools that people are like, I've not come across that, like the, I can't think what it's called. It's got a funny name. Is it the jumping hump?
Hump jumper.
Yeah, I knew it was one way around to the other.
I may use your version in future because it sounds more fun. I believe it's called.
I think it must have come with one of my machines at some point, and I just like saw it once, but I was like, I don't know what that is. And then until, however many months ago we were talking about it or someone recommended it, that hadn't crossed my radar at all.
So you're just holding up bits of paper, bits of card.
Shoving it through, just
forcing it through.
Sometimes works, sometimes breaks a needle.
That you still do things like that, even though you've been so far longer than me.
Oh, I'm a complete bodger. Like, I mean, being a farmer's daughter, there's bodge in my blood. Like, just farmers just bodge a lot of things. Like, in a good way and sometimes less successful way, but just whack some gaffer tape on it or whatever. I've got all the kind of glues, so chances something will work, but
give it a go.
Yeah, but there are so many tips and things, and just with the bag pattern that Emma Studio 77 has been doing, like I think Sam mentioned on a recent calls saying that she was doing the corners differently. She was doing the boxing out differently. So I ended up messaging her like, is this how you did it? Because I found the way that Emma was teaching on the thing a bit complicated in my mind, just faffy. So if there is an alternative, then I'll give it a go. So it's just really useful to have this hub of people and knowledge. Like, does anyone know how to?
Yeah, it's great for that. I absolutely agree with that. So, yeah. So I'm now going to ask you a question that I know that you've stopped asking other people, but you did ask it of me.
Okay.
I'm going to slightly tweak it. So, if you could have a sewing day with anyone famous, who would it be? And I put the famous in just so we don't upset anybody on the call.
Obviously, I'd like this to be in person right now without the interview bit. I've been listening to a few podcasts recently, and they talk about like perfect day and things. And I came up with a list of people I'd like dinner with. Whether sewing, do they have to be known sewists or
They can just sit and chat to you while you sew, I guess, or you could just sew with them or teach them how to sew. Anybody you'd like to discuss sewing with?
I think one of the people that crossed my mind was a bit controversial, like maybe not a good person, but would be interesting to sit in a room with. Oh, that was it. Wouldn't you love to just sit in a room with Trump just to understand, like just for 2 minutes, and then just say, "Oh, you're in the wrong room. I think you're next door."
I'm not sure.
How his mind works, just to understand a bit more than what media is sending you.
Yeah,
Because someone mentioned how that Trump was shown differently on American TV to perhaps the UK channels.
I don't doubt that for a minute. Yeah. So,
Um,
yeah, that'd be interesting to see how he would be without any press.
just a quick little,
Just
not
as a
to be like, no, mate, this is sewing. You want next door for the tanning booth? Like, walk on.
yeah.
Just those how different people think. Like, I think that's why he crossed my mind recently. Just like, but actual nice
I
people.
wasn't expecting that, I'm not gonna lie.
Just sometimes wonder, it's like what goes through these people's minds, like how other people think. And I'm sure there's lots of comedians, because I listen to and watch a lot of kind of comedians stuff, like Last One Laughing. So I think someone like Richard Ayoade, who inspired the name of the dog, who was fast asleep. It'd be interesting to have him at the table.
Yeah, definitely.
On the spot is really hard to think of anyone.
I know. You did it to me.
I liked that Joe has put in Hugh Grant, which is a reference to, I think, the last Christmas party. Yes, please. Just me and you. Just me and you.
Okay, then. So,
Hang on, somebody's asked, how did Richard Ayoade inspire Moss?
Okay. So there is a TV program called The IT Crowd, which me and my husband are a fan of. So it had Chris O'Dowd, the Irish actor, Catherine Parker, and Richard Ayoade. And Richard Ayoade is known for his little afro, and his character is called Moss. So we were on a random dog name generator, and we had a list of a few names that we might call him. But yes, Matt Berry was also in it, and Noel Fielding, and what's his name? Chris Morris. But yeah, the name Moss came up, and people was like, yes, just because he had dark curls like the character. So
yeah,
that's why he's also referred to as the IT department as well, is because of Moss in the IT crowd is in the IT department. So that's why there's references to him as IT. I mean, he's absolutely useless right now.
that is really cool. I like that. That's brilliant. And I totally get it now. So if you could have a superpower, what would you have?
I was thinking about this yesterday, because like I could have laser eyes where I could just cut out a pattern.
You'd be
Done. Yep. done. Just be so much quicker than all the faff of cutting out and tracing and everything. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm loving that. Yeah,
If
I'd
it could
love
be pencils as well, it's like just draw some lines.
it. Brilliant.
Uh,
So,
but I'd happily fly though. If you want a generic superpower, flying would be delightful.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I get that. So before we start the this or that, let's move over to B quickly and see if there's any questions, because I think there's been quite a few popping
Have
up.
quite a few in the chat. So the first question in the chat was, what job were you doing when you resigned to become to manage VSR full time?
I was a project manager when I left. I was working for a charity who promotes walking and cycling for everyone across the UK. I'd done 3 jobs there across 7 years with them. 7 years? Yeah. So I worked originally in schools promoting walking and cycling in local schools. So I was cycling all over Southampton, working in schools as Bike It Jenny, which is how my Instagram handle came about, Sew It Jenny. Then I moved into a central team for a year and a half, overlooking schemes called School Streets. I'm not going to go into it, but during my time as a schools officer, we implemented road closures outside of schools to encourage more walking and cycling and a safer environment for them. And if I ever mention bollards and get a bit giddy, it's because there's a school 2 miles from here who have bollards out during the school run, and it's a safer, nicer environment. I cycled through there recently and it's still going on. I put those bollards in February 2019, and they're still used today to have a positive impact outside that school. So I became a bit of a knowledgeable asset to the charity, but it's quite isolating in some ways. So I went back into my southern team as a project manager. But was still the know-it-all and had lots of questions come my way, even though I'd changed jobs. So yeah, it was a really nice charity, but I couldn't stay there forever.
Okay. And then Katie was asking, what are the plans for the future of the virtual sewing room?
Growth is the probably only thing I can say at the moment, because I don't have much of a plan, because I'm going to send out some questionnaires. Oh, I was going to say end of the week, but as we record, that's tomorrow. So if I get it together, very shortly, I'm going to just send out some stuff to subscribers and those who don't subscribe yet, just to get some feedback on a few things, just to make sure that it's growing in the right way for it to be a sustainable business. So yes, ideally in my head, upping the number of sessions that are available per month, but making it cost efficient as a business. So
okay. And my question was, how did you come up with the very distinctive branding for VSR?
Pretty much went on my design software and had a look at what fonts I had and what looked kind of fun, not too serious, and just kind of quite distinctive. I've always thought about changing it to something just very plain and simple, but it's a lot of branding to change across everything. And like,
I like it.
Yeah, it's just something that's a bit fun and not too serious. I've seen a few brand changes on a few businesses recently, and I'm like, oh, maybe I need to simplify. And I did start to have a quick play, but I was like, one, I can't be bothered because website, just everything. It's just a lot of upheaval for one person.
Yeah.
So it's staying as is until the foreseeable future.
We know we don't like anything too controversial in the virtual sewing room. So yeah, let's do a little this or that round, because I know that you do that with everybody, and we're going to do exactly the same questions. So it'd be really good to see what your answers are. So, woven or knit?
Um, woven came to mind first, so let's go with woven, but I've done a lot of knit the last few years. And actually, I've got a lot of knit on the go at the moment. Knit's just, you can't, it's a bit
Bit
more
more of a quick make, I find.
quick make, but forgiving.
Very, yes. So, blue or green?
Blue,
Oh, that was a definite. I think I got stuck on that one. Plain or patterned?
patterned,
Oh, this would be good. Cat or dog?
dog. Always.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird,
Yeah, the opposite to me. Knitting or crochet?
knitting. I cannot crochet. I can knit. Just
Interesting. Train or aeroplane?
people have a right think about this, but I'm a big train girl. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get the train a lot, don't you? Even with your bike and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, with my bike, like I'll always have a look at public transport before using my car. And if I know I can get there by public transport, I will. But yeah, planes, I know they can take you all around the world, but equally there are some nice train journeys all across like Europe and stuff. But yeah, as much as they can be a bit of a pain in the UK, I'm a big fan of trains. And also like just the less time, like less hassle. Don't need to worry about my passport, having my bags checked, and all that faff. And even with my bike, and that can be faffy and stressful sometimes. Um, train's just a lot easier. You can get there 10 minutes beforehand rather than the like 3 hours at an airport.
And then got through the airport and all that. So excellent. Spots or stripes?
Stripes. But I have spots came to mind first, but no, I like a nice stripy tee.
Yeah. Perfect finish or life's too short?
Life's too short. You should see the wonky sewing on this. Like, it's a bag. It's not going to fall apart. I can mend it if it's really that bad, but
It still looks great. Tea or coffee?
tea.
Apparently, wine, you told me, but you didn't tell me that until after I'd chosen tea.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
sorry.
so tea. No, did you say tea?
Tea. Tea with coffee cake.
Oh, interesting combo. Oh, I was going to say cake or biscuit. Does that mean your answer is cake?
Wow. No, ever since Sam said biscuits in the morning, cake in the afternoon, she's
Oh,
onto something there. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that's a nice hack of saying both. But
yeah.
cake feels like a treat, whereas biscuits, we always have a supply in the house. So I'm going to go cake.
Yeah, that's very true because we have biscuits at work, but if we have cake, it's a big thing.
Mm.
Interesting. Yeah. Read a book or watch TV? I think I know the answer to that.
Yeah, read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do a heck of a lot of watching TV, but it's nothing quite like going into your own mind and just, yeah, being absorbed into another series or whatever. I'm looking over here for my phone because I've been reading a lot on my phone from the library. And yeah, I love a book. Just, yeah,
Mm. Oh, zips or buttons?
buttons.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm probably one of just a few that have chosen buttons. I like as much, it's a love-hate with choosing buttons, but the personality that you can bring by choosing the right button, like when people share on Instagram, like, oh, should I go for this one or this one? It's like, well, both work, but it depends whether you want the wooden one to give like a nature kind of theme or whether you want to go green because it picks out the color. Like,
You
but
don't get zips, do you? That's a fair point.
yeah, zips are just more practical in a different way, not and especially invisible zips, like you don't see them, so it doesn't really bring much.
Yeah. Okay, get that. Yep. Text or phone call?
Yeah, text. I
I
always hate making phone calls.
think I'd agree with that. Sewing machine or hand sewing?
Sew machine.
Has anybody ever said hand sewing?
I've been worried once or twice, I think, when people said they enjoy the slowness of hand sewing and that they might pick that, but it's nothing like the sound of just a nice healthy machine or overlocker just doing its thing.
Lovely.
Satisfying sound, like the scissor sound.
And finally, the most controversial question of all, cream first or jam first?
Not controversial if you put cream first, guys. Not
But
that I've twisted arms over it, but yeah.
out of curiosity, who's answered the same as you on that? Has there been lots of that?
I haven't kept track of names to answers, just that there's 8 others who are correct, and 5 people who are learning the right way.
So before we wrap up then, B, is there anything else in the chat that people would like to?
There's one question more that Mishi added. If Jenny had to give up one of these, which one? Sewing or bicycle?
Whoa, that's a wicked question.
That is, isn't it?
Wicked. But actually, so when I started my old job in the charity, I used to say to them that crafting was my first love and cycling was my second, where I got into it when I was in my mid-20s. So I'd probably give up the bike before the sewing machine. I mean, I've got a whole room dedicated to it. I mean, I've got a shed for the bikes, but
so you got to both.
Yeah, I mean, I get such joy out cycling, like just the freedom of exploring, and yeah, there's a different kind of joy to that. There's a satisfaction in making, yeah, and I can still take the train. Yeah. I have to give up the cycling. Oh, it's so begrudging. Imagine D-stash if I got rid of
You're overthinking it now.
That's a lot of effort. So yeah, let's get rid of bikes. That's easier.
So I think on that note, we've finished, haven't we? So thank you everybody for listening, and thank you for your questions, not your answers even.
Okay. Hey, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed that. We had lots of fun at the birthday party. So thank you D and B who were filtering all the questions to me. I wish I'd had a better answer for who I'd like at a sewing retreat. And I've been thinking about it a lot since we recorded that. And I've decided I'd love to sit down with the presenters of Sewing Bee. You know, Sarah Pascoe, Claudia Winkleman, Joe Lycett, Kyle, who did the Christmas one when Sarah was on mat leave. I think that would be an interesting table. Like I say, I'm big into comics and they all tick that box. And Claudia will be there with a traitor's jumper on, I'm sure, so I can ask her about that. Anyway, I wanted to expand on the question that was asked from one of the attendees on the evening about the growth of virtual sewing room. So I mentioned about doing more sessions per week, which is at the forefront of my mind. That's what I'd love to expand to. I've got some other kind of ideas and things about the growth of virtual sewing room, but I don't want to do it on a presumption of what you as attendees or future attendees may want. So I've put together 2 surveys. One is aimed at those who pay for a monthly or annual subscription. I've emailed that directly to you. And then there's a survey for anyone else. And the reason I've kind of split it into 2 is because there's lots of questions, but actually some are specific for each audience, as it were. You've got different needs at the moment. So some of you are paying regularly for sessions, and others you may be paying as you go, or using the free subscription, or you haven't attended yet. That's fine, but I'd like to know a bit more from you compared to those who are already attending on a regular basis. So that's why I've split it into 2. So you'll find the link below for those who use the free subscription, pay per session, whether you use the pay it forward, or if you haven't attended yet. I'd love to hear from all of you. I haven't put the link in for the monthly or annual subscription because the email has gone direct to all of you. I don't want to confuse things for anyone else. There's just the link for the one survey. You do not need to do both. You're either one audience or the other. So The link is below for those who are not the subscribers to the monthly or annual. So do take a few minutes just to click through. There are some multiple choice ones, just so I can understand a bit more about you and what you might want from me and from the virtual sewing room. So I'd love it if you had some time just to fill that in. That would be great. And also, coming up in May, it's now May as this is released, there is the Mental Health Awareness Week happening from the 12th of May to the 18th. I'm doing some prep for that. Mental health is very important and close to me. I've been through lots of things, so I wanted to consider how to bring that into the virtual sewing room community. And this year's theme, by absolute chance when I started planning this, the theme is community. So it's a great opportunity for something that's close to my heart and to bring it to all of you. I'm going to have a vlog tour. I've invited a few familiar faces to partake in that. I'm bringing back In Conversation with someone who has been requested when I've asked about having guests on like the virtual sewing room day. I don't know how much I want to give away. It's definitely going to be of interest to many of you. It's definitely someone you recognise, even if they're not an attendee. So I'm really looking forward to talking about them and what community means to them. That's one question I'm going to ask, but it is more of a general, normal In Conversation with. It's just going to come out during that week as a treat for you. I am recording it in a couple of days from right now, so I'm really looking forward to talking to them. So during that week, there's going to be a video from me at the start and the end. At the start, it's me talking about my personal journey. Then we're going to hand over to a few other vloggers. I've given them some prep questions, so we're going to find out what mental health and community means to them and how sewing and other creative hobbies may help them on some days, or maybe how it stresses them out on others. Then on the Friday, the special In Conversation with. Saturday is going to be no videos released from me or part of the vlog tour. That's a day for everyone to chill. And actually on that day we have our sew along session for Sew Skin Summer. Go check out the grid on Instagram for more information on that, or Lucy's vlog, which I'll link below as well. And then on the Sunday, this is where I need you. I've put together again another survey, some feedback. If you want to share your experiences of mental health or what community means to you, I'd love to be able to share that on the Sunday vlog. So I'll be filming that on the Friday. So if you can fill in the form, again, link below, please do share. It's completely anonymous. Do not feel like you need to put your name in or indicate who you are. I'd love to be able to share your experience. Well, you don't have to share experiences at all, but any advice, mantras, recommendations of things, whether it's things that bring you joy, so whether it's a particular hobby, TV, podcast, book, anything. There's a number of different questions. You don't have to answer them all. You can answer just one, and that's fine. So I'd love to bring together your answers and share that with other people so they may benefit from your knowledge and experience. Again, share as much or as little as you want there. That's absolutely fine. I'll talk more about mental health and my story later in May. I haven't quite worked out how that's going to pan out, but yes, you'll definitely find out, just like this particular one, a lot more about me. So yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to making with you soon through May. We've got lots of dates through May. Don't forget our Sew Along this month is for Lucy, the Sewing Gardeners Challenge Sew Skin Summer. And maybe I'll see you again about that soon. Take care for now and have a great May.